Young Perkins' mind reels, suspended between mad hysteria and blind horror. For the fourth being emerged from the billowing smoke. It was their father. From the center of the pentagram, within the midst of the billowing smoke, rose the thing that had fathered Pickman and the beast. Of the dark malignancy lurking through space and time, this was its ultimate. An ancient evil, a nightmarish being from the deepest pit of black malevolence. There was a sickening sweet odor. The stench of fresh death oozed from within. Still, the crystal called. Yet the young man remained in place, spellbound, his eyes fixated on the incredible, the terrible, staring in a mad state of trance-like paralysis, deaf to all other sounds save for the blasphemous cacophony reverberating from within the conjure woman's shack. Horrendous shrieks, bellowing howls, sadistic titterings, perfectly mingling with the soul-chilling sounds of deep, demonic laughter. Young Perkins' teeth began to chatter, whether through fear or the night's chill. The young man began to shake. His muscles began cramping. It was cold, yes. The cold was partially to blame. That may have been so. But it was nothing compared to the hellish spectacle he was witness to. An unearthly sound. Gasping breath rose up from behind. Young Perkins reflectively winced at the unnerving sound of something slowly approaching. It was closing now, coming closer and closer. Still the young man stared. The indescribable scene presented within the conjure woman's shack made it impossible for the young Perkins to look away. Yet the sound behind him grew even more perfect. It was louder than before. Young Perkins held his breath, closing his eyes as tightly as he could, wishing that it was all a dream, hoping that he would wake up safe and sound beneath the covers of the canopy bed, surrounded by the smiling, reassuring faces of his porcelain pals. Suddenly, the feel of cold hands gripped him. Icy fingers crawled their way up his back, only to stop at his shoulders. "Fool, your ass went on and left me." It was heaven. By some miraculous miracle, Kevin had managed to elude the blind dead. Overcome with joy, young Perkins inadvertently shouts his companion's name, gaining the attention of all. The footsteps of Mr. Pickman hurried to the window, slinging the shutters open. He stares blindly into the dark, looking for an intruder. "Damn it to hell, I see nothing!" The conjure woman's voice summons him from the window. "Thou foul bastard of bitter birth, return to thy mother's side." Whereupon the mysterious Mr. Pickman rejoins the group. Unbeknownst to Mr. Pickman, the two young men have sought shelter in the dark hollow of the rotted barrel. "What did you see?" questions nervous Kevin. "What didn't I see?" Kevin attempts to question young Perkins further, but suddenly halts. Feeling around, he discovers the old croaker sack containing the mutilated litter. "Oh, look, somebody left a litter of kittens." Young Perkins attempts to warn his friend. I don't think you should..." Before young Perkins can finish speaking, Kevin's roaming fingers suddenly discover the shocking truth. "Ah! They've been blinded!" His loud declarations threaten discovery, where once more the shutters swing open. The sense of fear fully into the red zone, for now keener eyes were peering through the black. It was the conjure woman herself, old Granny Hagen. She deeply inhales the night. Once more she emits the sound of sadistic teetering. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the stench of death to come. Within the barrel 2 souls await. Their spying eyes have sealed their fate. With those chilling words, the old conjure woman summoned her monstrous child. Go forth and kill! Kill for the love of killing! Feed for the love of feeding! Glut thy belly on the sweet flesh of youth! Whether or not Kevin or young Perkins heard the witch's command was immaterial, for the terrified pursued were now 100 yards away and distancing. Those chilling words aided in whipping the ravenous beast into a ferocious hunger. A powerful rage sends massive muscles rippling. Claws that resembled that of a bear, ragged talons swiped cleanly away at the thick, timeless growth of ancient vines and heavy creepers. The sound of its incredible bellowing, echoing forth challenges to all, living or dead. It was seized with an animal's instinct to hunt, to kill. But the blind dead care not if it be man, woman, or child, nor even the soul of the beast. All that mattered was the life's breath, the soul's last gasp. That was what would free the suffering dead from their torment. Young Perkins had been protected. He had been bathed in the waters of the stone. There was really nothing for him to truly fear. His most pressing objective was obtaining protection for his friend Kevin. Though Kevin was wet with the mildew of the swamp, he had not been able to reach the stone. It was merely blind luck that helped him make his way out of the deadly waters all the way to the conjure woman's shack. Now they ran like souls possessed, tracked by some inhuman sub-breeding of man, beast, nightmare, and horror. Something fathered from the deep within the ebony pit, its bellowing howls causing more of the blind dead to gather, slowly surrounding him, making the monster glow with the same eerie luster as had the blind dead themselves. As the creature passed, those yet remaining in the pit lunged out at the passing nightmare, gripping hands, ripping, tearing hands of the desperate dead seeking to imprison the raving creature. Being so overwhelmingly assailed, it lost its footing and found itself trapped within the mire's deadly grasp. There were hungry hands of the tormented dead, seize and hold like iron shackles, dragging down. The wild beast, in its desperation, bellows out howls of bitter anguish, gnawing agony, knowing the finality of its demise. Lipless mouths, wide agape, attempted to gnaw away flesh from the desperate creature, who now found itself surrounded by a veritable cavalcade of crawling cadavers. Sightless corpses submerging, dragging it with difficulty down below. Exerting its fullest power, the monster burst up and out, its mind bent on one thing, and one thing only. Find the 2 interlopers, hunt them, kill them, eat them. Again and again, the 3 phrases ran through the creature's mind, burning like hot coals, burning like the surface of the sun, burning like the screaming heat of the Sahara's searing sands. The conjure woman's words added to whip up the creature into a pinnacle of black malevolence. In the distance, the young men could barely make out the fluorescent glow, a glow that surrounded something. The creature, annoyed with the interference of the blind dead, attempts to remove them by making swiping motions as a bear brushes away annoying mosquitoes. The creature's battle seemed now more to be with that of the swamp than that of the sightless dead. The two youths continued their crawl through the miry swamp. For the endless hours, they carefully moved until finally reaching the clearing that marked the edge of the haunted swamp. They were free. Kevin's declarations of joy as he races up the embankment only to slide back down. Upon Perkins shouts, "Watch out, fool! Let me show you how to make it in one jump." Thereupon he runs up the embankment. Grabbing a ragged branch, he pulls himself up only to feel a sharp pinch on his lower wrist. Yanking his arm back, young Perkins gazes in mute horror, for what at first appeared to be a simple branch was nothing less than a deadly diamondback rattler. He indeed had been struck. The swamp had spat its last breath at them, blessing young Perkins with the kiss of death. The deadly venom was now surging through his veins. "I'm hit! I'm hit!" Young Perkins' terrified screams over and over. Rising, he begins to run, until suddenly tackled by Kevin, who withdraws a small penknife from his pocket. "Stop it, fool! You want to die?" He questions his frantic friend, who remains lost in a state of affrighted insensibility. Cutting deeply into the wound, he makes a criss-cross incision across the puncture. Perkins moans in pain as blood begins to freely flow. Kevin works young Perkins' wrist, forcing up blood, not into the heart, but down, out of the freely flowing wound. Seeing the approach of dawn, it was apparent that church services would have long ended. There would be excuses to be made. Kevin and young Perkins would be forced to lie. They would perjure their souls for 100 years. But the immediate focus was on that of young Perkins. He had indeed received the Viper's deadly gift, but thanks to Kevin's quick thinking, young Perkins' life would be spared. As the blood dripped from his hand, feeding the red clay of the Mississippi earth, so like the rain, the blood of Negroes would again be forced to feed the thirsty Mississippi soil, there to drink deeply.